What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Glimpse gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about the Knight. Is the Knight still the meta SMG in Rogue Company? Spoiler alert, it actually is. Let's head over and let's talk about it. So for the Knight at base level, it does a body shot damage of 22, has a range of 12, has a mag size of 20, fire rate of 8, handling of 33, and a reload time of 1.6. Once you put it at that rare level, the handling does drop down from 33 down to 31, but the fire rate allegedly increases from 8 to 8.5. Not sure if that's actually happening in game. If it is happening in game, you honestly can't feel it, but this was a change that I did like, or this was one of the features about the weapon that I actually liked, where the fire rate got a little bit more intense, but the handling on the weapon went down. Also, the mag size for that rare level increases from 20 up to 30. For the epic, the handling increases from 31 up to 34, and the hip fire accuracy is a little bit better. And for legendary, it is suppressed, of course, and the range on it goes from 12 up to 14. Now, the biggest changes that we got with the Knight as of recent was on the October the 3rd Bounce House update. So in this update, they made a pass for a lot of the weapons, and the Knight was one of them. So what they originally did was the initial fall off range distance was changed from 8 meters to 17 meters up to 12 meters to 17 meters. And the initial fall off ranges, 0.9 base damage, went down to 0.75 base damage. So basically what they did was they increased the range of the weapon overall. They moved that first fall off threshold from 8 meters up to 12 meters, but they adjusted the damage on the fall off ranges. Now, this is something that I've talked about quite a bit, and this is something that I firmly believe. If they would have adjusted the base damage at those fall off ranges, left the original range values the same, and not change the range of it, so left it from 8 to 17 meters where those fall off thresholds hit, then the weapon would be perfectly balanced, in my opinion. Now, what would I like to see them do? I know that we've had this huge debate and this huge pass on SMGs when Jared was there, and then it turned into a whole kerfuffle thing, and everybody had their own opinions and their own feelings about it. Here is my thoughts on it. They're SMGs. They shouldn't have range. They should be something that is very intimate and up close, and they should do really good damage whenever you're up close and whenever you get into those borderline fringe, damage fall off ranges. But they shouldn't compete directly with assault rifles, in my opinion. And also, they should be able to compete very, very well with shotguns, which is something that isn't happening. I would like to see them go in there and just adjust the damage values at all the fall off ranges and adjust the fall off ranges. And get rid of Gunsmith, but I've already talked about that ad nauseum. But if they adjusted where that first fall off threshold hits and you're not doing 90% damage, you're doing 75% damage, then it feels more impactful, and it feels like you need to close that gap just a little bit more, or at least take pop shots at someone, maybe whittle some armor down as you move into downing that person, right? And that's kind of how I feel about the Knight overall, and all the SMGs overall. They need to adjust those damage values. It should be full damage up until like 8-10 meters max. It shouldn't be over 12 meters, and nothing should influence that. Nothing should influence the range of the SMGs. Once that first fall off threshold hits, then you start turning into 75% damage at that first fall off threshold, and then you do 60% damage at that next fall off threshold. And that way that you have a really good scale of SMG-ness right there, of damage output. But it's not impossible to be able to close gaps. It's not impossible to be able to put yourself into positions where you can excel with SMGs, especially on smaller maps, or specific game modes like strikeout, things like that, where you're actively fighting over points. King of the Hill comes to mind here. So I think that if they went in there and did that overall, then I think the SMGs would feel good and feel fine. Now, do I think that would happen? Absolutely not. And there's two reasons why. First reason is very obvious, because I don't think the developers honestly want to go in there and make those changes. Even though it would make sense to make those changes, this brings us around to reason number two. the community would absolutely flip out, right? The small community the Rogue Company still has already went into a gigantic tizzy whenever they made these initial SMG changes, and nobody, it's still a point of contention within the community overall. Are y'all going to mess with the weapons like you did? Are you going to mess with the SMGs like you did before? Blah 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 blah. Like, it's not that serious, but the reality is the SMGs are very 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 good at doing what they do, and what they do is a little bit of everything, right? That's where I sit at with it. Where do you sit at with it? And do you still feel like that the Knight is the most overpowered SMG? It is, and the reason why is because of that range. And then when you start adding other things on top of it, like gunsmith and other perks, then yes, it absolutely 1000% becomes the most meta pick within the game. And I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon unless they make the necessary changes, like reverting the range of the original Knight back to where it was. And I think if they did that, we would be square. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the Knight? What are your thoughts on the SMGs overall? Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays and also on Sundays, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
You go.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in here. Up the top. On the steps right there.
Nice. We did it.
I'll take an inch of that shit.
What are you doing? You doing the big ass smile. Attached to your ride.
Mother liquor.
Wee Jefferson. I've been inside all the greats.
I said he was done with that shit.
Warm glove.
Yeah. He said, I just need you to sign here.